Just before I went to break, I showed children in court being formally adopted and talked about the joy they experience in being able to call someplace home. It's a great emotional moment. But there's another side to that story as well. As of October 31st in Harris County, there were almost 4,000 children in CPS care, almost 2,500 in foster care homes, and almost 1,000 waiting to be adopted. Joining me this morning are Yolette Sneed and Ashley Smalls. They're faith-based specialists with CPS. To talk about what a faith-based specialist is. Is that a relatively new category, or is that something that's been in CPS for a while?
Well, faith-based specialists, it's kind of been in CPS for a while. It was there and it left, and now it's back. And so as a faith-based specialist, they are there to interact with the community and with different faith religions in order to collaborate with the agency to provide services, or at least be a resource for the children and families that we're currently serving. And
how different is that for both of you in that area as opposed to what you have normally been doing with CPS? I imagine it's a whole different kind of maybe emphasis, or what's your take on that in terms of how different it might be?
I would say it's a very different emphasis. With the faith community, you're out engaging the community of faith and saying, hey, what are the different ways that you can assist these children, versus previously when I was working with CPS, I dealt with the families, one-on-one with the children, making sure that they were seen every month and engaging the families to make sure that they were going to services, doing their particular services out with drugs and counseling or parenting classes. So it's a very different role.
And now you're doing something different. I don't know if this has been done before. It's called the Boots, Coats, and Duffel Bag Drive. How did that come about, and what are you looking for?
Actually, the drive kind of came about when they first started discussing the Care Portal. And what the Care Portal is, it's one of the resources that the faith community can get involved in to be a resource for our families and children that we're servicing. So when we have caseworkers that maybe need beds or clothing for certain children that may come into care, or for a particular home, then they can actually make that request through the Care Portal. And the churches that are actually signed up to participate in the Care Portal have full access to it, and they're able to go in there to see, hey, what are the requests that we have today, or that may have come through the Care Portal. And if they're able to meet that need, then they would basically initiate contact with the manager for the Care Portal.
Is that open? Is that kind of up and running pretty much all year round? But now during the holidays, you just want to call extra attention to it?
For Harris County, the Care Portal has not been activated at this point. However, when we have our December 10th Care Portal information meeting, we're asking all faith communities to come out, get more information to see, if they truly want to be involved in it, and we would hope they would. And we will actually have our faith specialists from state office to come down to give that meeting.
I got some pictures of some of the stuff that, examples of things that people might want to bring. What kinds of things are you looking for, and what kinds of things are the kids, in a typical situation, what kinds of things are they most in need of?
Clothing always. I mean, during this time of the holidays, it's kind of cold, or getting cold right now. So coats definitely for the children who are, above the age of 12. I would say older children are definitely in need of bigger coats for the holidays. Clothing, boots, backpacks, different toiletries and things like that.
This whole process, when you go about it, I would think that the government, the city, the state of Texas has money for that sort of. They don't have money for those extras. Is that why this is in place, or this is the way to kind of take some of the pressure off maybe the needs that you might otherwise have?
Most of our funds come from the Harris County Board as a state agency, or things that are actually donated in through different organizations, and they donate those items to what we call our bear room, which collect those items. So when we have children come into care for emergency kits, just to kind of get them through the night, then they're able to retrieve those items from the bear room.
If someone wants to get involved, what would you suggest that they do? I mean, obviously, if they're part of a church that may not be a part of this, maybe it's something you'd want them to go ahead and say, look, we want to be a part. What would you suggest?
I would suggest if they want to get involved on December 10th, we will have the Care Portal informational, and they can come out and learn more information on ways they can help. I mean, on the website, DFPS website, there are 28 ways that the faith community can help, and also just general ways on the general public can assist.
In terms of the process going forward here, talk about the challenge and the frustrations that you may find. Because this is one thing. This could be a positive thing because the kids could get something. Yes. But so much of the time, the reason you're involved is because a child is in danger or possibly in danger. Talk about the challenges, because both of you dealt with that. Why do you do what you do in terms of this kind of help for these kids in this community?
I truly think I do what I do because I love helping other people. I love helping children, and sometimes families just need that extra encouragement, guidance, mentorship, and that's part of my background of how I was raised, always helping others. So that kind of pulled me into this field. And, for a lot of children that we have, in foster care, awaiting adoption, we know that there are a lot of wonderful families out here that's able to provide our children with the forever family.
Perhaps now the holiday time is a time when people might think more about what they can do to help children who might be in situations where they maybe need to get out of it.
Yes.
What is your joy that you bring to this? You've been doing this about 6 years. What do you find the joy in what you do?
The children smile. At the end of the day, when you see a child who has, been removed from their family and they are now engaged with a new family that they don't know anything about, but just to see that smile on their face, to know that they're okay, is rewarding to me at the end of the day.
Well, we've put the information up about the event coming up and the December 10th date, which is an important date. You want to get everybody involved. And we'll put that on our website as well.
Great.
But we want everybody who can go ahead and start gathering things together, either for yourself, for your church, and get them out and be involved in all of this. Yes. Yolette Sneed, Ashley Smalls, thank you both for coming in. We appreciate you being here. Good luck as you continue the effort and doing these great things that are beneficial to our children. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Just ahead, racism rearing its ugly head last week in the form of local flyers telling, quote, non-Americans their time is up. A conversation we all must have. That's next when Houston Newsmakers continues.